Okay, so one of my viewers asked me to do a video on basically my favorite AUV3s as well as VSTs on desktop. So this version is going to focus on iOS and what I like to use for making music on iOS. So it'll be AUV3s. Obviously, the uh, what you see on the screen is AUM. So I use AUM to make music primarily just because I find it to be more useful for my workflow, as most of the DAWs on here do not appeal to me. That's just me personally. So I use the mixer. And what I like about using this is that I can use it with the SP404, or I can choose to just create music on here and then bounce it out. So you can record arm a track, arm all the tracks, and then record either a final mix out or just record out parts, however you would like to do it. So it works really well. In fact, I'm using the mic in here just to be able to talk to you guys. All right, so let's get started. So MIDI, what do I use for MIDI? My favorite things to use is Adam's piano roll. So really simple, set how many bars you want. So there's 8, arm it, and record through there. So I use Atom piano roll for the MIDI in here. Then I use Harmony Bloom and Chord Generator. Now these are two of my favorites that have come out in the last year or so. And I use both of these in on desktop too, but not as much Chord Generator as I do Harmony Bloom. But I'm using Harmony Bloom, it's primarily for like when I'm making ambient stuff and I want to create something that doesn't seem so repetitive. Then I'll use it. Of course, Scalar 2 is always going to be used inside of iOS as well as iOS as well as desktop. So that happens to be what I use there. And then chord, tonality wise, I love using tonality for the pads. I find it, you can make a controller with this too, but I find it easier to just grab my scalar chords right into here and then I can play them into my instrument of whatever I'm using. Now I use audio modeling Swarm on desktop as well as on iOS. You don't really have to buy both. You could just get them on iOS because they're cheaper and then use them and record into your desktop if you want. I just recently started like in Playbeat 4. I didn't care for Playbeat 3 even though I had it by Audio Modern. It really just it didn't move me, I guess, at first because I was kind of limiting my styles that I like. But this new one with the AI that they added, I think is really nice. There's not a lot of bass stuff that I like on iOS. I prefer desktop for that stuff. But I fretless bass is a really nice if you want real sounding bass, in my opinion. All right, let's talk about more instruments. We'll do the instruments first, and then I'll get back to the other stuff. We'll call it. Okay, we'll skip past Drumbo because I'm going to talk about Drumbo independently. Radio Unit AU is made by the same company that makes Drumbo. Beep Street. It's BPST on here, but it's Beep Street. And this is a great source to sample from the radio. I just find it very good. I have all of Brambo's stuff, but as of recently, I haven't been using it much, but I do like Hammerhead and Fluss. I think those two are really quality instruments. Fluss is kind of like um, the microcosm vibe. Hammerhead is obviously a drum machine that is step sequencer based, but I like it because there's a few things in here actually I want to point out. Just because you see just that, if you look at the view mode, you have actually trig, flam, chance, pitch, velocity. You have a lot of options that you can use. But here's these cool chance, mutation, and glitch, chance, and chaos. These things here and building patterns and even using the random feature here sometimes can be quite fun for making your drums. And because other it will take your own samples, it's pretty nice. You can use it. All right. Spacecraft, I have it on desktop as well as on here. It's a fun tool. I don't use it as much, but occasionally when I want to try something with granular vibes, I'll go that route. Piano wise on desktop, I'm gonna be honest, I think Piano Tech is the best purchase you could make, and I haven't done it myself, but it's because you can get it for the desktop as well as iOS, and then you don't have to worry about ever looking for pianos. Now, there's a ton of different pianos on here from Pure Piano, Pure Upright, and there's a bunch of other ones that are out there, and I have quite a bit of them, but I don't really find myself using them as much. So I would say if you really want to make an investment in pianos and you can afford to get it, you use both desktop and iOS, grab yourself Piano Tech. It works on the iPhone, the iPad, as well as desktop. So you'll guarantee to win. Koala, I use, we'll talk about it separately just because I feel like it's so much more than just an instrument. It's not really an instrument, but it is. So we'll put it in its own category. All right. I don't really use FabFilter Twin 3. I have all the FabFilter stuff, but don't really use a lot of it. But we'll talk about that when we get to the effects. Okay, async sampler is a fun one. It's not really something I use all the time, but occasionally it's fun to just explore with it. Probably Neo Soul Keys from Gospel Musicians is one of the ones I use the most. Um, Not a big fan of IK Multimedia, but I do love the Hammond B3X. So if you need organs, in my opinion, this is my favorite organ on iOS. I do like the glitch shaper and space fields, all of this stuff from what's his name? I want to say Ivan is his name, but he's a cool dev. And what's cool about his stuff too is now it's all on desktop too. So you can buy it for iOS and still use it on desktop. Okay, ClevGrand is probably one of my most favorite developer, however you want to call it, companies for iOS. They also work for, um, you can buy their stuff on desktop too. On iOS, I mostly use them for rhythm and percussion. So I love Borista, Shaka, One Shot. This one I got for free when it first came out. So I didn't really, I mean, I like it, but I don't really use it that much. Moog, I don't think you can go wrong. I think everything they put out is solid. Model D, Mariana, Animoog, Model 15, they're all good. This developer here, I forgot what his name is, but on here it's listed as Naira. But Fractal Bits, Rec, Relic, Relic Flow, and Relic Waves are all three cool little instruments to create kind of glitchy little noises and little textures, and you can hold down a bunch of them and really come up with some cool stuff for iOS. And then, of course, Scalar. All right, let's talk about good old effects. So there's a lot in effects. Aquil, Atom, Sound, Ridgewalk, and Weeping Wall. These are really good kind of ambient type effects. Audio damage, I love EOS 2, which is what I would call like the Valhalla equivalent on desktop. Other desert cities, I'm starting to get into. I like to use it for like creating unique rhythm patterns with percussion and drums. Pan station, I use this on desktop as well as on here for panning instruments. What I like about it is some of these presets are really good. Like when I want to make something sound like it's moving around in space, I'll use roundabout. Um, but all of the presets are really solid. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so on desktop, I kind of mentioned liking a certain plugin, and here's the reason, one of the ones I like a lot, which is BFM. I'm not going to say what that means, but you can do your research. What you can set are mono stereo. It's just a visual meter so that you can see your waveform. I'm hugely into having the visual for audio because I'm a visual learner. So for me, it tends to help me a lot. Knock is nice if you need that extra punch for your drums. I think it's one of the best out there. Course Scaler 2, we'll skip over that. 303. Dr. Vibe is like having your SP effects, like your 303, 202 effects for whatever you want to put them on. Galaxy Brain is a I didn't buy it. This is like a demo, I believe. And I still don't fully understand what it's for, I'll be honest. But the developer that made these, I think, did a good job on the ones that he has. I think I have two of them, but I only use one. I think what else in here? I'm gonna skip over some of this stuff because I don't use it all. So I'm just go to stuff that I use. Okay, Black Hole, I just got this for desktop too. So this is a really fun plugin. If you want to go ambient and cinematic, you can literally put this on anything and it just instantly creates that ambient washy feel. Fab Filter I bought when I first started using iOS, bought the package deal as well as these. To be honest with you, they're all good. However, if I was just going to pick one out of here to have, I don't use Pro Q3, but I do like it. Pro Q4, I would go with that. And I probably would pick Saturn. Saturn's a great distortion that I find to be kind of clear, but not like muddy distortion. So I think that one's pretty good. I have Mixbox. I talked about IK Multimedia. The only reason I like this is because they have 1176 compressor and the LA2A compressor. Outside of that, I would never use it. Here's the Glitch Machine, Space Fields, and Stellar Vox, which is a reverb. Those are really good. Haze 2 is probably my most used app as far as AUV3. I put it on the master channel and sometimes use it on different instruments to place them where they go. So it's got that, is it the Haas effect going on? So I use that one a ton. The Moog presets, I don't use them as much as I would like or thought I would, but I got such a good deal that I just got them all. But the saturator is really nice. I have it on desktop. Um, there's BFM, Knock we talked about. Sugar Bites. Tornado is cool when you want to create some glitchy, weird stuff going on. Really nice. Barricade Tone Boosters is my favorite. I actually like them better than Fab Filter. Because one, they're affordable. Two, they're on desktop and they're affordable on desktop. And they really work good. They're clean. They don't overdo anything, but they don't underdo it. So they're just very balanced. Unfiltered audio, I don't use their stuff much, but I do think the needlepoint is one of the better vinyl effects. Dr. Vibe is good, has some nice vinyl effect in there, but I think needlepoint sounds more natural to me, and I really enjoy it. So that's kind of it. Everything else in here, I don't use this stuff as much. I will talk about some apps that I use that I'm going to show you in just a second here. So give me 1 second while I pull them up. Okay, let's open Koala. Koala is probably my most used app. I use it on the phone, sometimes on desktop, and on this iPad. When I'm just trying to create music with audiophile and not really overthink, I think Koala is the most used app I've ever used on iPad. Now I have Beatmaker 3 and I do like Beatmaker 3. It's really nice. Um, I also have um, another one that I'll talk about, Drumbo. So Drumbo is basically like Electron's Octatrack, um, but in digital form, I would say. So, in my opinion, if you like step sequencer or want to explore outside of your typical way of creating, Drumbo is kind of like a mixture of using that Electron box with Ableton with its own little vibe too. So really fun, um, easy for routing things and getting things to connect. Um, and I think I have the most fun with this when I'm recording something live. So in other words, performing in here can be really fun. Um, you know, just being able to grab something, create a beat, use your step sequencer. It's pretty simple to use once you get used to it. So Drumbo is definitely on my top list of stuff I use. Probably not as much as Koala, but it is what it is. Koala has the performance as well as the mixer now, so that's been really cool to have. And the sequencers are not bad considering this is like $15 app total with everything. So I find it to be really worth having. So quick to grab a sample of yourself, right? Or whatever else you want to record in. If you want to play some instruments into it, you could record via the microphone and really sample fast and make music fast. So I like that a lot. Going back to here. So I'll usually have like Koala on a track here, and then I'll route. If you go down here, you can route a mix bus that runs up to here. Oops, that's not what we want. Mix bus. And if you set A, you see right here, this is set to A and this is A. Now anything you record here feeds into Koala. Make sure you turn this on. And then anything you play, right? So I press that. There you go. So super simple. In fact, I use this sometimes, put the SP into here and then record like a bass line in straight into Koala. And that's how I will do my bass. Just playing over the track. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of stuff you can do with this. Um, this is pretty much my favorite stuff to use on iOS. And these are all pretty much AUV3s. I don't mess with too many apps unless they're AUV3. And I find it to be the best to do that because I want to be able to use it all in one platform if possible. AUM is the best when it comes to being able to have all your stuff in one platform without a bunch of extra uh, issues and where is this app at and trying to find stuff. So I find this to work the best. Beatmaker 3 is a really nice uh, app to use. The only problem I had with Beatmaker 3 is when it comes to MIDI, using MIDI into it, like MIDI effects, I should say, like scalar and all that, it's not as fun to record with. It's a lot of process and stuff you got to do just to make it work. And sometimes it doesn't record the notes as clean. And then the editing in it is just not fun to me. So for me, that and Logic's really good, but I just don't want to pay a subscription, I'll be honest. And I don't use Ableton Note because I don't really like it. It's not terrible. You can only have 8 tracks, but it's not terrible. It's just not something that I enjoy doing with that workflow. Plus, I don't like half the sounds in there anyway. So that's just what it is. Well, you've got my honest opinion on what I use and don't like and all that. So tell me in the comments what's your favorite apps and things that you enjoy. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one where I'll talk about my desktop stuff. All right. Okay, guys, have a good one. I'm out.